Now, thousands of stranded seafarers are now set to be evacuated after months stuck in the Persian Gulf. The International Maritime Organization says it has gotten necessary safety guarantees, and this is crucial, to try and begin this massive operation. It says 11,000 seafarers are currently stranded, and it will conduct evacuations in cooperation with the United States, Iran, and Oman. Restoring safe shipping, I don't have to remind you, will be a difficult task. Hundreds of ships are still stuck in the region, and many no longer ready to sail after months of anchor. Arsenio Dominguez is the Secretary General of the International Maritime Organization, and he joins us now. Good to have you on the program as we try and figure out this next phase. So you can tell us what has been agreed to, what does this operation look like, and how long do you believe it will take?
So the traffic separation scheme established by IMO back in 1968, we know that right now it's not safe to be used. Iran issued some information regarding navigations north of the Strait of Hormuz. So we've been working particularly with Oman in order to use this corridor in the south part of the Strait of Hormuz. And this is focusing on evacuating these 11,000 seafarers in over 500 vessels. I just got confirmation that following the announcement of this route, which we know that is safe, and this is paramount for any activity in the region, the first ship is already crossing. And of course, we will see an increment, a periodic increment of transit using both corridors, because our first step is, of course, to start bringing those vessels into position in order to have safe evacuations, avoiding any collisions.
How long do you think it will take to get all of these stranded ships out?
So we're talking about over 500 vessels. We've seen since of the weekend that there's an increase of around 30 vessels that have been transiting every day. We will then start increasing those numbers using this corridor from Oman. So we expect that in the next few weeks, we actually will be able to at least evacuate those seafarers that innocently have been affected by this conflict. And in the meantime, also continue the conversations to start resuming the operations and ships traveling into the Persian Gulf.
Yeah, that is also crucial to this operation for many reasons in terms of getting those supply chains going. We talked about some of the challenges you're facing. What do you regard as the most difficult part of the operation? And I want to go back to something that you stated, right? The traditional route that you call the TSS, it's the traffic separation scheme, you say is not safe because Iran, in fact, has mined much of that route. Tell us how this alternate route that you explained, that is both north and south, how will it work? And crucially here, Iran announced Friday that it is going to force companies to register with the country to clear the strait. Is that still true? Will there be tolls?
So the traffic separation scheme, as you mentioned, was established by IMO in 1968, and it's been operated ever since conjointly by Oman and Iran. What we know right now, and this was also stated in the MOU, was that there are mines in this region, in this traffic separation scheme, and there's a commitment to demine it. Now, in the meantime, we need to start using alternative routes. By that, we already went through the geographic coordinates with Oman in order to safeguard this route and start evacuating the vessels. Equally, Iran has already published information for the routes that are being using north of the strait. This is closer to the territorial waters of Iran. Of course, they need to communicate both to Iran and Oman because this needs to be a safe passage. That's the way that it used to be on the TSS in the past. What we are not going to work on right now is on any issues relating to tolls or fees. My position has been very clear that is not in accordance to international law. But what I will do, and we already started some conversations with the countries in the region, is looking for mechanisms like those that we have established in other parts of the world that meet international law and can provide assistance to the countries in the region in managing straits, particularly for aids of navigation, marine pollution prevention, and maritime security.
So you're talking about money being applied not necessarily for tolls, but Iran will still claim its tolls, even if it's used for ease of navigation.
That's not what I'm saying. If I use one of the examples of the mechanisms that we have in Asia, this is a voluntary contributions where it's very well structured. The IMO plays a part in this, and it's only to provide that assistance when required when it comes to air navigations. I'm moving away from any discussions about tolls and fees because that's not in accordance to international law.
Okay, got that. What other complications do you see here with insurance, maybe cleaning the bottom of the boats? Because we know some of them are compromised and they're not exactly seaworthy the way they should be right now.
This is where we also start working with the littoral states in the region now that we don't have a conflict, and they can start providing some assistance for the vessels that will need the hull to be clean in order to actually be seaworthy and start transiting the Strait of Hormuz. And of course, as moving into trade outside the region. The next step for us as well is all the safe guarantees in providing that the TSS will not have any mines. This will increase the confidence and the trust with insurance companies. And of course, there's a coalition of other countries that are ready to provide assistance in this respect. All that in order to build the confidence and working with insurance companies to do the same thing.
Mm-hmm. In your statement today, you note that this will, and I'm quoting you, end the unacceptable attacks against civilian shipping. And you note critically that 14 seafarers have lost their lives. We've discussed that there are thousands stranded at this hour. You know, what has been lost here in terms of the safety and integrity of maritime shipping?
I mean, shipping is being geopoliticized. And this is not the first time. It's becoming, unfortunately, a trend in the last few years. And it has a very negative impact on the innocent seafarers, the people on board that work for all of us for our benefits. And of course, it has a negative effect on everybody else because shipping transports over 90% of global goods. And of course, that affects the global economy. Also, one of the biggest challenges that we will be having in the future is attracting the younger generation into this amazing sector. So this is why I continue to call on countries around the world to also do their part whenever there are differences of opinion, of course, not to bring shipping or not to utilize shipping in this way. We can be resilient. We can find new routes of operations and avoid conflict areas. But the reality is that those essential goods that need to be transported for everyone else then would actually get stuck in the countries because we are not able to reach them.
Arsenio Dominguez, we will continue to check in with you as this strait begins to open in the next few hours, days, and weeks. Grateful for the interview. Appreciate it.